Chris. It's a Victory Tuesday edition of the show. We get to talk about not only wins for Alabama basketball, but how about this football team taking care of business in a huge way on Saturday in Baton Rouge?
Yeah, that was special and fun, as you well know. And I will say unexpected, not in terms of the result with Bama winning. Bama has been highly successful in that stadium over the years, much more successful than not. But it's always a tight game. It's always competitive. It's always gut wrenching going into the fourth quarter. And that wasn't the case. Alabama had it well in hand before we ever flipped to the fourth. That was very different. That was very enjoyable. And I think it's also a clear indication of the direction that this team is going. There's some good things happening right now. And I think they've weathered the storm. I'm not saying that the final 3 weeks are a cakewalk in the regular season. And should they handle business, we don't know exactly where the postseason will start, but we know there's going to be one, and it's going to be meaningful. And that's really a heck of an accomplishment for this team that was really struggling to find some identity and some consistency about a month ago, but it's not an issue right now.
How impressive was Jalen Milroe on Saturday?
Um, he looked like Jalen, and that's a good compliment. Now, again, if you hadn't seen him, that doesn't mean a whole lot, but if you have, and virtually everybody that's tuning into this podcast certainly is well aware of what the best version of Jalen Milroe looks like, and he was terrific. And I think it's so good to see him running the football with the effectiveness that he did, in addition to throwing it well. They've game planned very well for him to get him some confidence early. But man, his ability to not just have the strength and the speed, but he read some runs. And we think about it a lot with a quarterback. When you talk about a read, you're usually talking about right around the line of scrimmage. He saw some things a few yards downfield with things still developing on that offensive or with the blocking scheme. And just a thing of beauty to watch him read the holes and then just blow through and be able to outrun everybody. So electric. We've said it for a while, but on a team with two really good running backs, he's the third. And at his best, I'm not so sure he isn't the best, with all due respect to both Jam and Justice. He is very tough to bring down. And first of all, you just got to catch him, and good luck with that. Because when that horse is out of the stable, he is taken off and very, very tough to catch.
Already on this show, we've seen the booth cam highlights from LSU, but I think your best moment of the night maybe was something going to break, talking about a Louisiana Saturday night. Just give us the genesis of that brilliant line you delivered.
Uh, as you well know, most good stuff over the years has always come from Tom Stipe's mouth into our ears, and some of it you can actually use on air. And Tom and I were just kind of joking earlier in the week about wouldn't it be nice if, and kind of together we came up with that. There's more to it, but sometimes less is more, and that's a rarity that I go that route, that less is more. But it just kind of fit. Never really thinking that it was going to be uh, as much of a margin, or that you could use the line earlier than we intended necessarily. But it was really cool to be able to have some fun and enjoy ourselves. And again, no disrespect intended whatsoever to LSU. And in fact, as I said earlier, it's so rare that you can go into the late stages of a game actually feeling good about what the outcome's going to be. We always go down there with confidence because of what history has been for Alabama for whatever reason in that stadium. The line is, and it's understandable, um, one of the toughest places in America to play. And we've been able to smile, thankfully, and tag it with for everybody except Alabama. Well, it's normally tough all the way to the wire, and just kind of nice to be able to take a deep breath, smile, have some fun. And we got some great traditions around our league. Normally, you know, calling Baton Rouge is a signal that they're about to get you. And I've said also, hold that tiger. Usually it's too late. That tiger's already got hold of you. But instead of calling Baton Rouge, they were probably having to call 911 in the fourth quarter of that thing. And uh, yeah, the Louisiana Saturday night, they were getting down the fiddle, getting down the bow, and struggle with Saban, and now struggling with DeBow. And yeah, a little poetic license there, but again, it's meant for fun for our fan base. That's who we're talking to on our broadcast. I've said it forever, Roger. If you're a fan of another team and you tune in, I really hope that very, very soon, within you turning to our broadcast, you're going to hear score time down and distance in football, score time ball position in basketball. But beyond that, uh, we're watching it from a Bama filter, the Bama fans' perspective, talking to Alabama fans. So if somebody else is tuning in from outside the fan base, then again, I hope they can follow what's going on, and you're welcome to listen in. But we ain't talking to you. We're talking to Bama fans, and I think we were all enjoying what was happening on Saturday in the Bayou.
We've enjoyed that. Of course, in basketball, we've already enjoyed 3 wins for Nate Oates and the Crimson Tide. You were on the call last night against McNeese. Just what have you made of the starts of the season and now an important stretch coming up for Nate Oates and the Crimson Tide?
Yeah, it is. I think one of the things that they're going to have to be careful with, and just from my own perspective, may be totally wrong. I think they're going to have to guard against complacency when a game gets to be uh, 15 points or more, because they know they're talented enough to bury most teams. They've got them down, but they've had a couple of games where they've kind of gotten sloppy. Arkansas State being one. With again, Arkansas State's good now. You can't relax against them, and we saw you can't relax against McNeese. If you've got a lead, you've got to build it. And they got to 21, kind of relaxed a little, and all of a sudden, that's down to a 6 point ball game. And that's to McNeese's credit that they fought, stayed in it, still made a game of it. But this team, when it's at its best and when it's locked in, is going to be really, really tough to beat. And I don't think that's going to be an issue. Now, they may not win at Purdue, but it's not going to be because they're not dialed in and not locked in. They understand that's going to be a tough place to play against a very good program, one that played in the national championship, albeit with, some different looks to their roster, but still really talented group that they're going to square off with on Friday. And you'll get a chance to see it front row seat. I don't know if you've broadcast from there before. I have a couple of times, and it's special. It's a great college basketball venue, but I hope it's another place that Bama comes away with a special victory.
We look forward to that coming up later this week. And then on Saturday, Alabama against Mercer. Chris, just all the best with everything that's coming up, including Hey Coach on Wednesday night. We look forward to seeing you all throughout the week. And hopefully we're talking about more Bama wins this time next week. But thank you for your time. Roll Tide, Chris.
Roll Tide, buddy. Always appreciate it.